for a while.
Ooh.
Oh, and Kane with that long distance rail. That's one less defender to worry about, but he is going to go down here. Sane's going to finish him off, but it looks like Senas is here again trying to stop. And the entire unit comes out of nowhere. A lot of kills, a lot of frags on the deck. I don't tell you he's have that C-cap he's trying to get through. No one in his way to stop him. That's going to be another safe capture.
Well, they're just going to simply make their lead more known. And oh, nice use of Acid Spit, a double kill, very impressive. But I mean, there's still a huge amount of time until that power-up spawns. 29 seconds, and I mean, in this situation, right? If you can defend 100% and then power-up spawns, you've got about 90% left to go. And then that's a very difficult decision to make if you're Modus Operandi.
Oh, wow, didn't quite do enough damage. Senas has got that defensive shotgun blast. Kane to drop it off on another shotgun. Actually, you're seeing so much use of the shotgun. I think it's because so much of these fights is just point blank.
Here comes power up. Oh, bot mode tries to be sneaky. Has left Griffin ridiculously weekend again, just forcing him to go in for that reset situation.
But knocked off the edge. Protection goes towards Modus Operandi. But this reset of the soul is going to use up quite a lot of that time. Unfortunately for Modus, soon they have such a comeback they need to mount now. There it is. It's there. They do have protection too, so I'd be very surprised if they can't at least drop this off. The question is, how long can they hold it? It's a good way to start things off, though.
There's going to be a small amount of that protection left.
Oh,
just enough to
shot.
secure a double. Putting the end of that protection to very good use. Scoring 3 kills in a row. I mean, just that really is just sort of just optimization of how to use every last ounce of your protection.
C-Cap trying to throw the soul away, but doesn't quite hit the mark. It's going to hit the wall, and now Modus starting to build up this percentage even more so. Oh, and Kane using that crouch slide. Not being able to run away too good.
They're piling in big time. Kane, I mean, he's going to have to take that damage. That is the fastest way through. Turning around would have been certain death. Bot mode, very weak indeed, but taking a slightly altered version back to the obelisk, and there was no one to challenge him, so clearly it was a location they weren't really prepared for.
Also, still obviously a very quick route back too. So even though, again, Modus, they're able to get a bunch of percentage, but then as soon as they lose it, Totem Tellies basically add the exact same distance between them again. Oh, wow. There's that Berserk. He's going to dive from that one.
Oh, wow, nice! Can he get one more? He gets 2 in a row! There we go. It is underratedly difficult to land a Berserk punch in a situation like that. Like, it really takes a lot of aim, at close range, management of when you will be going in for that sort of auto charge, but perfectly executed.
You don't have any damage reduction during Berserk. You know, you are fully at risk at full damage when you go in for those punches during that ability. You have to be on point. Can't afford. And if you obviously miss and you lunge at an angle you're not used to, you're then going to be out of position, not where you want to be, not looking in the right direction.
But in all that time,
99%.
Oh,
it's bad for Modus Operandi.
I mean, history has to repeat itself. There's no alternative. Clamp gets the quad damage. And history very well may be repeating in this case.
It might happen, and quad damage is the perfect way to start that. The problem is Clamp okay. He doesn't have an LG. He doesn't have a rocket.
Heavy machine gun that'll have to do.
Now, what do Totem Tellies do? Do they wait it out? Are they trying to group up? Even if they group up, they're still going to be against the quad.
Actually, Clamp, he's putting himself at great risk here. But these 2 missed rails.
But even if he dies, his teammate's just going to pick it up for sure. Totem Tellies. No, Totem Tellies ran in and picked up the quad damage.
Runs into the acid, so he takes a bit of damage. This is where things get really dangerous. There's 1% left on Totem Tellies. They weren't quite able to finish the job last time, but they have to try and do it again. Clamp just completely surrounded, but they trade it back and forth. Griffin is too weak to take this fight. Senas with the pickup. And now he has the quad damage, but he's not going to get out alive. He is surrounded by Sane and everyone else. We're trading back and forth. Modus, they need to fight for this right now.
They have no choice. It's 99 to 82. If he can drop this off, he can. Now, Modus Operandi, 3 of the 4 of them are here. 4th is no doubt en route. They are all here. They desperately need to work together. One of them has dropped, Sane in no less. And their strong fraggers is down. 3 of them dead. This is a bad look for Modus.
I mean, now their mission will be to close in the space. They have to head them off. They're unlikely to run back to their own obelisk. They're trying to meet them in the middle. But with 1% left, they just need to drop it off 1 uncontested second and they're going to win. But the suicide, hang on a minute. No, his entire team is here, but they are dropping 1 by 1 like flies. They've already taken the soul away. Sane, he has the speed. It is Anarchy. This is the perfect champion to bring this one out. And there's no one to contest right now. They do catch 1 rail. Sane, he has to be so careful at this stage. They pile in 3 of them at once. Here we go.
But the soul has been taken away, already passed up to the top, but he dies immediately. This is just absolute chaos. Looking back, and there we go. Kane drops down. And the soul is on the point. Now he's going to drop down Griffin, but Clamp OK gets the acid over time kill on bot mode. And is that it?
That is going to be a capture. 2 99% comebacks in a row. I mean, if that doesn't leave you pumped as the team that has just accomplished that, I don't know what does. That was
insane.
Ridiculous.
That's insane for multiple reasons. They were behind massively for both of those rounds. 99 to 100 comeback, not once but twice, 2 at least 10-minute rounds. That was a long game. That was an endurance for these guys. Burial Chamber is going to be the next map. But to this situation, I present you a question. You are totem Tellies. That just happened to you twice. What do you do? How do you keep composed? How do you keep yourself together in the next map? Knowing that happened to you twice.
All you really can do is, you know, in that instance, you just have to forget that it happened, right? Because
you have to learn from it, but don't let it affect your play.
If you take any baggage from a match that goes that way, where you are in full control for 85% of that match, and in the last possible minute, it is snatched away from you, and the comeback is made twice in a row, and 99% comeback made twice in a row, you can't be thinking about that. I mean, even during the warm-up phase, if you're thinking about the last map, it is already affecting you. That is already an extra thing in your brain that is taking away or adding unnecessarily to what should be focus on the map you're currently playing on. Burial Chamber is very different to Tempest Shrine. The two obelisks, once again, vastly different from one another. And really, you still need to play at your best in this setting. This is winners finals. This is grand finals. You're playing for the comfort zone of less work to do in grand finals, playing for a very important tournament. You can't think about it.
But I kind of feel like you have to. I honestly feel
you
like
can take away from it, but don't think about it during the map. There's no time for that.
I think this time in between, you know, when you're loading in between maps, you have the warm-up phase. You as a team have to go, right, what happened? How did that happen to us? Because if it's happening twice, there is clearly something there. Because I don't want to say it's like completely on, you know, totem Tellies. Obviously, it was a huge props to Modus Operandi for having the composure to do that back-to-back. But I think there has to be a degree where you're like, okay, well, what happened? How was that able? Is it how we're playing for that overtime? Is it how we play at 99%? Are we going in at the wrong time? Are we not going in together enough? Like, is it the weapons? Is it the health? Is it the champions? Like, you have to try and figure out what is letting that happen before it happens again. Because this is the second map. That was a 20-minute map. We might be... I mean, if this one isn't as close, that's already going to seem like it's just going to breeze by comparison.
Well, I think with that kind of thing in mind, going into this next map, the lineups are completely the same. These guys have played multiple times, not just this week, but they played last week as well. It was a lot more convincing for Modus Operandi previously when they fought. At least before, obviously, the things occurred that caused things to be a little bit unfortunate for Modus Operandi, but this was already closer than it was last week. So improvements have been made. But what we can't ignore is the quite clear execution errors that we were seeing. A general level of slight sloppiness. At the last possible minute of a round, there's no room for error. And we saw a couple of errors at the end of both those rounds that really kind of kick-started that comeback sequence that Modus Operandi then ran away with. So at this level of play, going into this next map, there's no room for those errors. And I think they know that better than anyone.
Well, they're going to have to do what they can to make sure that doesn't happen again, as we're now 10 seconds away from going into what could be the last map of the series. There's going to be map number 2, Burial Chamber, Modus Operandi versus totem Tellies. They're playing for a spot in Grand Finals winner's side in this North American bracket, and they're playing for Dreamhack Winter Qualification as we get underway.
Oh, that's just going straight in there with Berserk. Is he even going to get 2? No. He only didn't get 1 there. That was pretty impressive regardless, getting 1 off the table. They will spawn before the soul spawns, though.
And the Soul is going to be up any second now, it seems, as it looks like totem Tellies again are trying to get hold of it. Oh, trying that all pass, but Yenin with a nice double kill with that plasma trail.
That is the danger of Slash when she's got that plasma trail at the very beginning. Her and Sorlag combined a complete ability to just deny the Soul. But here comes the reset once again. Clamp coming off a little bit better. Unable to get through the door. No, can't quite go inside the temple, which he was definitely trying to do. Doing all the work for totem Tellies. But they all piled in so heavily. Has that allowed Modus to seize the power-up? And it looks like it has done. Yenim,
That's going to be it.
Quad damage.
Yenim having quad damage, I mean, that is dangerous. He has been doing a lot of work at the moment to take the Soul away. He's just trying to sit on the outside, grant safe passage to his team.
But they put in so much work towards getting that Soul initially dropped off. They pretty much conceded the power-up. But now, using the quad, not really going to be able to defend with it. Yenem will be able to drop off regardless. How well will they defend here? Does get bot mode, so that's going to be quite important to waste a tiny little bit of that extra time.
Only 12% on the side of Totem Tellies though before losing that, unfortunately, and Modus already halfway to bringing that one back. But the thing is this the obelisk Modus would have wanted to go for? You know, they did go for A and lost it at the last minute, so this is definitely not their first choice. But still, this is already looking like they're in the lead, or again, trying to put as many nails as they can to do as much damage before Totem Tellies inevitably get this close.
Kane tries to pile in with the rest of his team, but wasn't quite ready for Yenem being there waiting. Gets a nice, impressive little double. And already Modus pretty much have a double. They have, in fact, got double that lead at this stage.
Kane only seeming to have a super shotgun. I mean, that's the big thing about Sacrifice. You're not going to be as well equipped weapon-wise for all these situations. And so far, Kane, all he has is a shotgun. He has to get in close, but no, didn't quite get the read on where he was going to be. And Yenem was able to just blast him with that lightning gun.
I think that one decision at the very beginning of the map to put so much resources into taking the soul and dropping it off into that obelisk, just conceding the quad damage, which was the one catalyst that allowed them to make this entire trek back to Obelisk B. I mean, you have to ask yourself, you know, was it worth going for that decision?
No, he went for the mega health but got hit in the air. He did not want to land over there at all, and that's an unfortunate suicide. But it has given Totem Tellies an opportunity to get closer to the totem, but it doesn't matter as Griffin is there ready to stop. And Sake is taken out. Kane is looking to single-handedly take this point back as the entire team is almost wiped out in that one sequence.
Here we go. All power-up spawning one more time. He's got the access to the protection, but he's so weak. Still very vulnerable at this stack, or lack of.
Yep, trying to protect his teammates on the way. Mega health, that by itself has made him very difficult to take down with his protection.
They found him. No doubt there's going to be communication saying, right guys, he's here, everyone focus your attack.
They're just trying to stop the capture, but now it's CCAP is left doing it. They're trying to come in. His teammates are dying, but that protection is keeping him alive at least, but he is now alone.
Oh, they're piling in. Can't survive long enough. I mean, the protection has run out. Extremely vulnerable, and they're just trying to already make that passage back.
It was reset, and same was ready. Drop it off, gets taken out immediately.
Oh, knocked off the Mega. That's a bit unfortunate. He survived long enough. Oh, it's going to be close. No.
No, drops it on the floor before as well. Yenem is able to take it away. He's actually taking a lot of damage here from that damage over time. His entire enemy team is going to know where he is, trying to get close. Drops it off. Oh wow, his team is there in force, and it is dropped immediately again. Modus Operandi looking at 60%. Climbing up now. Totem Tellies only on the side of 20. I mean, this is already a very different pace to what we saw before. Last time it was Totem Tellies, a big lead for most of it, and it was a comeback from Modus both times. But this time it's Modus that are massively in the lead.
Trying to use that, put that Mega to good use, but without any armor, he's going to be ridiculously vulnerable. Completely focused. One health.
One health. Anything at this point will kill him. And it will be a nail to finish the job.
I mean, that Ghost Walk, even that, going to waste some time. I think he's trying to actually, not necessarily going for a telefrag, just some sort of assassination. Does work out, a couple of frags. But the problem is, they've been all over this point, but the percentage is continuing to climb. They've only just taken it back, but not before a ton of percentage went in Modus' favor.
Oh, that's looking good. A lot of frags here, but there we go. Bot mode just comes in, swoops in at the last minute. That speed and the super shotgun in hand, but Yenem has the quad damage. Even though Totem Tellies have the soul, there's a quad on the side of Yenem. They don't want to be dealing with this. Now we're going to see him capture, or is he just going to try and wait it out? He's just trying to safely get through, but it seems easier said than done.
They get one rail, one of those maybe, but actually putting the focus on the remaining enemies. Wasn't really looking at the soul location, so he did allow him to get the drop off, and he's pretty weak here. One rocket will sort him out. Oh, can't quite get away, but Clamp has been able to salvage things.
Clamp, if we can take this back, they are on 89%. Oh, that's a frag. Bot mode falls. This is the best case scenario. They're looking really good to get this, and he has 120 health. That's quite a lot to deal with.
Oh, he tries to bet everything on the assets, but maybe he's going to go down. Why not do as much damage as possible?
Indeed, the same, popping that object. Oh, ejection, but the rocket does too much damage. And Senas is just trying to throw it away, get that distance, and Kane can collect. I think Totem Tellies realize that they have no more room for error. Modus Operandi, they're too close to winning. CCAP going to drop it off, but he is getting followed in. Acid didn't connect, running in with the gauntlet. When it gets taken away, there's the off-map. Sane dies, but he'll definitely take that. Oh, well, CCAP committed suicide. Maybe just trying to...
It looked very much like a tactical suicide to maybe respawn a little bit closer. I mean, he has actually respawned... Actually, not necessarily, actually. He could have definitely covered that distance beforehand, but
Maybe to give a respawn of 150 health, 50 armor. That's not terrible.
Waste some time to get some full health, why not?
However, though, it was in vain as Modus already have put things off again. Now Yenem.
Oh, he's surrounded.
A lot of damage in the process, but there we go. All the numbers are here. And a few percent added to Modus Operandi's lead.
Oh, Sane
runs it. Just a normal shotgun, too. Just a starting shotgun.
It's a very popular strategy at this level of play. I mean,
uh-oh, we're on 99. We're on 99. And he's got the blade out.
oh, frag after frag. And so many of them went down. That's likely to be the round. They're just going to have to pile in. Bot mode tries to waste some time. The rest of them are following in. Kane and the rest.
Got the soul off. No, that's not going to be it yet. But, I mean, this is a tall order to make this comeback. I mean, I'm not going to say it's impossible. We've seen it happen already many times, but it will be difficult.
The danger now is that Clamp has the protection, and it's going to be very hard to deal with him here. And the problem is, they went for the reset, but there was a lot more members of Modus near the center of the map than iTotem Tellies, in many ways making the soul easier to collect.
He made that read, he made that decision, and unfortunately it did not pay out as Modus Operandi now find themselves on match point. 1 round away from making grand finals winner's side, and you know that is a safety net that everyone wants.
We saw how difficult it can be just earlier on in the European Grand Finals. You know, when you are loser's side down, it's difficult to deal with. Now, if you can avoid being in that situation, I mean, happy days. But they played that map so well at the last minute. I just feel like at the last minute to reset the soul may not have been the best idea because there was just more members of Modus. And that exact start actually happened in the previous round, by the way. You didn't see it, but I saw it on my computer. Just immediately popping Berserk and then just taking that fight one-on-one.
Still, though, that first soul going to be up in just a few seconds. Now, we saw Modus go towards... Oh, Yenem is able to just swoop in and take it. Now, this happened last time. He died before dropping off. But no, this time,
yeah, not today.
They get A. This is what they wanted last time, Modus. But they were able to win despite being effectively left with the obelisk they wouldn't have preferred.
But
however,
the earlier you can seize the soul, the more time your team has to fight for the power-up. So if they can get this power-up, as always, it's going to be pretty much a guaranteed 30% lead.
3 of them waiting, though. Not sure what's happening here. Oh, wow, a lot of them fell down. Insane is able to swoop in and take the quad damage and has the injection right immediately. Modus Operandi with a big lead. They have the soul, they have the obelisk they wanted, and they have a very healthy, very aggressive Sane, who's topped up with a quad damage.
Here comes Nyx.
Behind him. He knows she's there now. Wasn't able to kill him. Oh, ever so slightly gets it, but dies anyway. Yenem is there to pick up the quad.
Well, Sane died in the plasma trail, so collecting the quad was still not a possibility. A nice little combination, you know. You're damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Oh, Yenem's going out. He's using the aggression, using that quad damage, and takes out almost the entire team. Brilliant. And a 40% lead for Modus Operandi to start things off. A minute and a half in. This is a night and day difference from the pace these guys have been playing at so far.
You can't ask for much better than immediately taking the soul and then immediately snatching up the quad.
I mean, they're half done already. They're looking at 50% at less than 2 minutes in. This is not looking good for iTotem Tellies.
It's definitely not what we've been seeing earlier today. And just using that plasma rail just to cut off every single entrance. Or as much as possible. There was still one door there, but he covered pretty much the most of it.
Well, on bot mode here, he's trying to survive, but I mean, that's it. The plasma trail, the acid, that is why Slash and Sorlag are such amazing defenders in situations like this. CCAP gets a frag, but will die anyway. Sane is able to take him down, and look at this percentage lead already. Almost 70%. There we go. Senus, oh, he dies! The Berserk doesn't save him from the rails.
It's just going from bad to worse for them, isn't it? I mean, they're trying to pile in as much as possible, but they just can't survive long enough. Kane, can he get this one? He himself, even he is ridiculously weak. They have been able to bring the soul away, bot mode. But he's not got anywhere near the health he needs to get out alive. They're going to be there, and they're going to do more than 75 damage to him.
See, they're looking around. Modus means 68% to 0. This is a tough situation to be in. He's going to die.
And the power-up spawning soon, too. Fresh off the spawn is going to be risky to fight for it.
Oh, and there we go again. Yenem going straight in for that power. Okay, looks like the protection on the side of iTotem Tellies. Kane is quite low on health, but it is protection. And the suicide passing over to Senus, who's a lot healthier.
But for how long? He's getting focused by the entire team, even with that protection on deck. He's taking a lot of damage. Enough to survive this fight for now. Oh, using the Berserk just to try and get out of there.
But he's taking a lot of damage anyway, 20 health. All it will take is one person in his way now.
Oh,
Still
no!
dies, but his teammate picks it up. Not too bad. But Griffin is there, salvaging it. CCAP gets a gauntlet kill. But Yenem has it again in the plasma trail. It's so hard to keep up with her.
And they're trying to chase Pans, but they took a bunch of damage trying to chase that one down and
Oh no.
make that a couple of nails.
This might be the beginning of the end for them now. Modus Operandi, they have a lot of percentage in the lead. Still yet to get a single percentage.
That has been the difficult situation because they are so far down. They haven't even been able to drop it off one single time. If they're riding this momentum, I mean, it's going to be a massive order to try and prevent this momentum at this stage. I mean, they are riding all of it.
A nice multi-kill on the obelisk, so they're starting things off. I mean, if they have to make a comeback, that's a terrible way to start it, but it will be difficult. There is no getting around it. They're going to have to play perfectly from now until the end.
But you can just see the X-ray, just how well Modus are able to pretty much surround the obelisk location. I mean, there is no way bot mode can get into that obelisk without being at risk of at least one person who is waiting for him.
I mean, they're on the obelisk. They're literally standing there, trying not to let him drop it off. He's going to get the frag on Griffin, immediately injects. Gets himself that topped up health. The important thing is they're not going down 100 to 0. They're starting to climb this ladder, but they are all dying for it. Clamp OK going to take this away at the very least. Is he going to pass it on, or is he just going to take it himself? Throwing it down. Senes is there.
Oh, still alive. I mean, those double jumps, really useful combat tool. Avoiding some of those rockets, you know, staying in the air for just a little bit longer. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh, it's quad damage. Yenim has it. This is bad for totem Tellies, but they didn't really have a choice, though. They needed to get the soul back. When you're this far down the percentage, you can't afford to not have the soul in your possession, even if it means the cost of the power-up, which Yenim is just running a masterclass.
He actually had a hard time hitting those machine gun blasts, but with the super shotgun, I mean, who cares? That last-minute weapon switch just go, why am I even bothering? He gets to the health, does manage to. That might be a difficult thing to come back from there. Oh.
Boy goes in with the berserk.
Oh, and there he is!
But yeah, good old-fashioned berserk into backflip combination.
There's only one more person here lying in wait trying to take this one. C-Cap goes down the suicide. I mean, that's going to be a little bit fortunate to remove one head from the current fight, but with Modus being in their home turf, I mean, in that small amount of time, they take the 100%. And I mean, that was an even faster turnaround, without a doubt, from the map that we saw before. I think Modus Operandi, they played ridiculously well last week. They're playing just as well this week. They've not quite qualified, but being in the grand finals means they've now got the mother of all comfort zones. I mean, if they were to fight Totem Tellies again in grand finals, now they know, okay, they've beat them one time, and now they simply have to do it again, where they have the advantage going straight into the match.
Indeed, but one thing taking away from that endgame lobby, Clamp OK with almost double the kills of almost anyone else in the entire map. And that's the kind of aggression that you expect on. If you've got a good Sorlag player that can afford to just get in, do as much damage as possible, and get those key frags, I mean, it really is an important factor to have. If you've got someone that's that confident and that capable on a champion, that's that important to the mode. But that does mean that we are done for winner's side for now. We have a few matches left to go before we see who will be our North American qualifier today. We're going to go down into some loser bracket action. But while we get that game set up, we're going to go to a quick break. So please